Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. So today I'm going to be doing a review of the new RCMA foundation, the Liquid Foundation. It is relatively new. I'm a little late to this game, but I have heard so many people rave about this that it's the best foundation you can find. I first heard Bailey Sarian rave about it, who we all know and love, and if you don't, she is the murder makeup mystery guru. And then Tati Westbrook has said it's the best foundation she's tried. So there's so many people that I think a lot of you will know that really have raved about this foundation, and so I thought I have to get my hands on it and I have to try it. I currently already own and love the RCMA foundation and concealer palette. So this is a palette of different shades. There's also a couple different shade options. There's a darker one as well. I really like this for contouring specifically, but I also use it, and as you can see, it looks pretty messy, but I do also use it for making shades for weddings. This baby comes in handy for adding, making a shade darker, and it's really honestly become a staple in my makeup artist collection, like in my collection for clients. So absolutely love that. I do also like the no color powder. And so when I heard this liquid foundation was the best, as I said, I had to get it. I got it from Beautylish. So you can purchase it from Beautylish or straight from the RCMA website. If you are interested in finding out how this actually applies, does it live up to all the claims and all the hype it has, surrounding it? And I will be doing a 2-day wear test for at least 10 hours to see how it wears on my combination oily skin. I do also have textured skin, so we'll see how smoothing it is. If you want to see how that all turns out, then keep on watching. So this is the actual bottle right here, which I really like. It's very sleek, it's different, it doesn't look like anything else I have in my collection, which I love to see, unique looking products. It's a high intensity liquid foundation that offers lightweight all day wear without clogging pores. It replenishes the skin while enhancing your natural beauty all day long. You will be glowing. It is full coverage. It has a natural matte finish. It is made with olive oil derived material for full coverage with a lightweight non-drying finish, and it is available in 36 shades with golden neutral and peach undertones so that you can find your perfect match. As you can see, I have had a couple recent breakouts. My skin's been improving significantly, but I do still get some breakouts here. So we're hoping that the full coverage is true because we need to cover these babies up. And I find a lot of full coverage foundations look heavy. They look super dry or matte, or they just look cakey and don't always last all day. So this one better live up to its claims. It's got a lot to live up to. So I got the shade N110. They have like 3 different series, the G series, the N series, and the P series. So G is golden, P is peach, and N is neutral. I got neutral. This is the lightest neutral shade. I was scared to get the lightest one because I thought sometimes it's like a dangerous zone, as I've mentioned before. Sometimes if you get the lightest shade when you're fair like me, it's like white. And then sometimes it's still too dark. So I just went with it because I did look at swatches online. This is the actual formula. Oh, it doesn't look too thick. It's not runny per se. Like some really lightweight foundations can be almost runny, which I do like. It still has like firmness to it. So it's thick enough, but it doesn't look super, super like thick and pasty. And then this is the shade. I'll just put a little swatch beside that there. The N110 on my skin. I think it's going to be nice. As you can see, when you look at it, it doesn't look dry at all. It almost has like a radiance to it. Now we don't know what it'll look like once it dries down, but I like it. What I'm going to go ahead and do is test it with a brush and a sponge, as we normally do here on my channel. So I have my Artiste brush. We're going to do that on this side, and then my sponge on this side. We'll see, does it work with both? Which one do we prefer? And then go from there. Oh, I didn't get enough there. Oh, I didn't put prime. What am I doing? I'm like, why does this feel weird? Didn't put primer on. This is the second review I've done this. So we're going to wipe that off. Just have a clean towel here. So let's try that again. We're gonna start with primer. I do primer here on my channel, even when I'm reviewing foundations, just because I'm combo oily skin type. And I just personally recommend using primer always. This is the One Size Secure the Blur primer. Now let's try this again. Yeah, that feels better. That is definitely full coverage. I actually think the shade is a pretty good match to my skin. You know what? I really just want to use my sponge. Because it's so full coverage, I kind of want like the airbrush of the sponge, and I don't know if I need the assistance of the brush for the full coverage, because look at how full coverage this is. Yeah, I'm already liking the way it's looking on the sponge side a little bit better. So I personally recommend the sponge. I think it just looks a little bit more skin-like and smooth. Definitely like the sponge better. It feels almost a little bit hydrating. Like it doesn't feel dry at all. This is very full coverage, as you can see. For the amount I put on, it's covering really well, like eliminating pretty much all of my redness. It's just one layer. Just one layer. That's nice. Let's go in with, I don't even think I need a full second layer. So I'm just gonna add a little extra coverage in the areas that I have blemishes. To my neck, it matches perfectly. Okay, let's look up close. I haven't even looked up close. I'm just honestly like in awe of the coverage. It does look nice on the skin. It's not looking super heavy or makeup-y. It's not looking dry. If anything, it almost looks hydrating. It so far is looking nice and smooth. I really have no complaints so far. I went over my blemishes, so it is going to remove a little bit of that coverage because I'm like really blending it into the skin. So I'm impressed so far. What I'm going to go ahead and do is finish up my makeup, and then I will come back. You know, how did makeup sit on top of it? How did it set? And then we will do a wear test. Okay, so this is the finished look. I just did something super simple. I'm enjoying it. I really like it. There's nothing I really have to complain about it, but I'm not like wowed. It's not like, you know, I have foundations I like just as much, and we still have to see how it wears. But I do like the coverage of it. Going over with, you know, the cream contour, the cream blush, the powder, you lose some coverage on your blemishes. But aside from that, it covered everything else really well. I think it is medium to full coverage for sure. You can definitely get a good full coverage. It's buildable. It still looks lightweight, and it doesn't look dry. I think it looks pretty smooth. I really have no complaints so far. I am pretty happy with it, and I do think so far it's living up to the claims, but let's go ahead and see how it wears. So I will be back. I will check in if anything changes, and I will be back at the end of the day. Hey guys, so it's the end of the day. It is 9 o'clock, so it has been about almost 11 and a half hours since I applied the foundation. I'm not absolutely in love with the results, but I don't hate them. And I also feel like this is calling for a day 2. Very often on my channel, unless I'm super certain of how I feel, I will do 2 days of testing because I find it gives me a more concrete, opinion, because just one experience from a product, your opinion can change really quickly once you test it a few times. So I am going to be doing a day 2. So keep watching if you want to see how this foundation holds up after a second day of testing. Today, the reason I'm not super in love is because it is breaking down a little bit around my nose, just a tiny bit around my nose. It's like kind of starting to separate. And then on my chin, it's looking a little bit kind of patchy. That is actually quite common for me, especially if I wear a mask, same with my nose. So it's not the most transfer-proof foundation ever, but I actually was really, really hard on my makeup today. If you have never watched my channel, I am expecting. So I was having a really rough day and just wasn't feeling well this afternoon. I had kind of a bit of like a period of time where I was really exhausted and was laying on the couch, face on the couch, just like, those days. And then that you're typically kind of harder on your makeup, you're not paying attention to where you're touching. So also I got my nails done and I had to wear a mask. I'm talking, so that's why it rubbed off a few areas. So long story short, am I obsessed with this foundation yet? No, because of how it's worn in terms of those few things I just mentioned. But I do want to give it another chance because, as I said, things can change when you try them more than once. But the one thing I will say is it's been almost 12 hours, like over 11 hours, and I barely have a shine. Little bit of a shine on my forehead, but barely have a shine. So I do think it's pretty mattifying. I will give it that. I think it's long wearing in terms of oil control, but I do want to give it another test to see if it was just me today and like how hard I was on the makeup, or if it was actually the foundation. So I will try it again tomorrow, and I will check in with you guys to update you with my final opinion. Hey guys, so it is 8:30. I've had this makeup on for almost 12 hours now, and this is what it's looking like. This is day 2 with the RCMA foundation on, and for 12 hours, it's honestly looking really, really good. Still barely any shine. I haven't touched anything up today, so I do have to say this is one of the longest wearing foundations I have worn in terms of controlling shine. It does compare to the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless finish. It does compare to the NARS Soft Matte in terms of that long wearing and controlling of shine. The only thing is I would say it's not the most transfer proof foundation. As you can see, it's rubbed off my nose here a little bit. And I've lost some coverage on my chin from a mask that I wore for a couple hours. We went to church today I went with my son. I do have to say also, like on my chin, because it's started to rub off, I found that it looks a little like kind of patchy and like it's maybe started to break down a little bit, and on my upper lip. Aside from that though, everywhere else looks almost completely flawless, really nice and smooth under my eyes and beside my, on my cheeks, on my forehead, nice and smooth. It hasn't separated. It doesn't look super cakey or makeup-y. It still looks lightweight and natural. Is it the absolute best foundation I've ever tried, ever? No. But does it compare to some of my favorites? I do think so. I do recommend the foundation. I will say though, day 2, I felt it looked a little bit nicer on the skin because I shook the bottle really, really well. I didn't notice it said shake well on the bottle day 1. And I thought I would remind you guys, you really should do that with all foundations, but this one specifically said it on it. So just to make sure you're mixing it nicely so that the formula is the way it's supposed to be, and nothing separated. I don't know if it wasn't that much different, but it might have made a little bit of a difference. So make sure you shake it. I would recommend it for people who struggle with controlling shine And I do think it's still lightweight and natural, but still full coverage. So I do think it lived up to all the claims, and it is a good foundation. I do really enjoy it, and I will continue to test it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.